Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey, it is Transformation Tuesday over at Loving Me Before I Love You. Y'all, we gonna get into a subject that people talk about this month a lot, but I don't think we talk about it from a standpoint of support. I don't think we get as deep into it as we should. And that subject matter is domestic violence. A lot of times we hear domestic violence and we are instantly just thrown into the physical. And domestic violence is honestly beyond the physical. It's emotional, it's mental. It is simply violating people on an intentional basis from the standpoint of doing harm through manipulation and physical contact at times. And I've been through it. It's not something that's like, oh, I'm waving the flag all the time. Like, hey, look. But I don't also see myself as a victim. I see myself as a survivor. However, it is not talked about from the support perspective. And I say that because most of us that are the survivors tend to not want to really talk about it. In other words, when you're going through it, sharing it with other people, asking other people for assistance, letting other people know that you actually do need their support during this time. It's not really the first thing you tend to do. Your first line of defense tends to be secretive. It tends to be, let me hide it, because you are ashamed that you even allowed yourself to go through it. You're ashamed about the fact that you put yourself in position to experience it. And then you're going through the psychological warfare of, is it my fault? And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how you can support people that have either gone through it, who are in the middle of it, how to be able to be supportive if you have the idea that somebody may be going through it and you just don't want to say nothing. You may not even want to ask the question because you're afraid of what the answer is. And I do have a guest, because y'all know I don't do nothing by myself over here. Well, at least every once in a while. But typically, I always got a friend. And my friend today is Dr. Vanessa Guyton. And we are going to get into this subject. So if you are triggered, I still want you to listen. But if you are also triggered, I want you to also seek assistance, because you got a lot of work to do. Triggering things reflect that it is still bothersome. And I want to welcome Dr. Vanessa to the show. Welcome.
Hello, beautiful. Thank you.
So I know it's a tough subject for most, but when you share your own story, I'm not from a preparation perspective, but how do you guard those that listen to be able to hear with openness and with a sense of charge, like a sense of doing something about it, a sense of, being supportive and you know what I mean? Like, how do you go about spreading the word?
So for me, I think it's important to pray first. Anytime I speak, when I go out, I'm on a platform speaking. Before I came on with you, I always ask God to give me the words, the wisdom, the courage, and the discernment to be able to be a blessing to his people so that they can hear and be able to heal. Every
Amen.
time.
Amen.
So that's half the battle right there, right? And then I always show up authentic. I tell a little bit of my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always coming from a non-judgmental space, from a place of love and kindness. And that
Yeah.
seems to open the door for people.
Yeah.
That's it. Just being true and authentic. That makes it easier for people to come forward. HUSH stands for helping those heal. And HUSH stands for healing and
Give it to her, Jesus.
Sophia edit. HUSH stands for healing and unleashing the shame to heal. So that's not it. Got it. HUSH stands for helping you unleash the shame to heal.
And that's what we really have to do. Like when you really think about domestic violence from what I call like a big umbrella, healing from that particular situation, a lot of times is scary, right? Because you're reliving it during the process. It's like I have to heal from it, but I have to tell the story. And I found telling the story is a part of the healing process. But most of us are so ashamed of the story that telling it is not the first thing we want to do. It's like, yeah, I want to heal from it because I want to not be dealing with it. But I don't per se want to tell my stories because I'm ashamed of it. So how do I do the healing without the sharing? How do I do?
You do not have to share. One thing that I tell people that if you just acknowledge, I have people that'll walk up to me and they'll say, I understand. I've been through some things. I don't need to know the whole story, right?
Mm-hmm.
As people start healing, the story is easier. The more you share your story, you get your power back. It's like you take control of the narrative. And so I do think it's important for you to be able to, but you don't have to share on a platform like I do. Just telling a friend, just saying, I've had a hard time. I've been through some things. That's sharing. Then you'll get to the point one day that you may be able to share the story. Sometimes you may not. I've met women 80 years old who never told anybody that they were sexually assaulted, they were molested, or that they've been through domestic violence. Sometimes people take it to their grave, and that's okay. Everybody's not ready to share, but getting to a place that you're ready to heal, that's what's important. And it's your story. You tell how much you want. Some people don't want to tell nobody their business. And some people do. And so it's getting comfortable. Sometimes it's just sharing with a neighbor or sharing with somebody else telling you that they've been through some things. But you don't have to tell the whole story. And that, I think, helps people to be able to say it's okay and not get so anxious.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, though, no, I don't have to tell the whole story, but I need to tell my story, right?
Your story, right. Your narrative,
And
what you want to share.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so in that part is really where the healing lies. You know what I mean? And so, yes, I may not want to do it in the beginning. And that's why I say, like, you're ashamed of it, but it's a part of you, right? It's something that you've experienced, that you've overcame, that you've gone through, etc. So how you tell the story is really on you because it's your story to tell. It's still liberating when you discover how to tell it.
It is.
It's super liberating.
It's empowering when you get to that point, right? When you get to that point that you can share what happened to you and tell it from a place of healing, a place of joy, a place of I have escaped, a place from I'm doing this now. I got my money right. I moved out. I started from nothing. So whatever part of the story that you want to share. And I always say that the person that should carry the shame and the embarrassment is the person that abused you. You shouldn't be carrying the shame. They should be ashamed that you got to tell a story that you were harmed by them. That's who should be embarrassed. But we carry it when we shouldn't. We carrying other people's burdens. And we shouldn't carry other people's burdens. So that's for me how I don't carry shame at all. Like I'm not shameful because I didn't do nothing wrong. And even if I did, even if I feel like I put myself in this position, Even if I felt like I should have left before, even if I feel like I shouldn't allow this, I knew better. So what?
Yeah.
You don't expect people to do that to you. You don't expect people to harm you and mistreat you and not
Right.
love on you. So
Right.
you just got to get to the point. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop
No,
me anymore.
absolutely. For me, it became a thing of gratefulness versus a thing of shame, because no matter if I wanted it to happen or not, right? Because who wants that to
Who wants
happen,
it? Right.
right? No matter if I, as you said, put myself in that position because maybe I saw a sign here and there and I still stayed. No matter if, you know, they hit one time and it's like, oh, they said they'll never do it again. And I stayed, and nothing happened for months and months and months at a time. And then boom, it happens again. You know, whatever the storyline is, no matter what it is, it still leads me to be me today. The lessons learned from it still left me where I am today. It still built me into who I am today. It still helped develop an area in my life of high level discernment versus passing over the red flags and, you know, ignoring them and acting like, oh, but they got potential. Oh, but they can do this. And oh, you know, but they're amazing in this category over here. It allows you to now say, you know what? If all ducks are not in a row, the ship don't move. Versus we can go, we got 8 legs instead of 10. We can make it. Yeah, no. And so it's like, it's your story. But at the same time, as much as you didn't want it to happen, as much as all of those things, it still became you. You still have something to be grateful for on the other end of it. And I just think that we as survivors have to switch the perspective, switch the narrative, switch it to give yourself power versus pain.
See, well, first, I want to tell you that I honor you. I honor you in this moment because it is not easy. You don't know who's going to hear this podcast, right? Our podcast streams to countries, right? So I honor you because this is big. And I also honor you in the way that you shared your story. And I want people who have a story to look at how you shared your story. You didn't give all details. You let us know that you've been through some things and you said it from an empowering place. And that's an example of sharing your story. Like, people don't need to know about every hit, every choke, you know, every time somebody really harmed you, unless you want to share that. But you did a great job telling us that you've been through some things. And I encourage people to do it from that standpoint, you know, and I think it's big that you're doing this. So kudos to you. I love it. I'm really excited for this journey for us.
Yes. What was the start for your journey for advocacy?
Getting to my low. So for me, I was triggered. I'm a survivor of military sexual trauma. And I was in the mall and I thought I saw the guy come out of a clothing store and I freaked out. Like, it was real bad. I went home, I drank a whole bottle of Remy and couldn't stop crying. For hours I was crying. So I called my girlfriend and she took me to the VA hospital and I was admitted for a week. And that's when it was like, wow, all of this is real. Because I had suppressed the memory for 17 years. And I just realized everything that I've been through, everything in my marriage and just the drinking. I didn't think I had a problem because I never got a DUI. You know, I just really drank at home and with friends. But I couldn't stop. And realizing that I had a problem and I never shared, I didn't tell anybody, that I could have prevented a lot of things in my life. I could have prevented the suicide attempts. I could have prevented the depression, the PTSD, and all of that comes with it. If I'd have just reached out and shared with somebody, you know, and that's what started my advocacy. Because when I got to a place that I'm like, oh, I'm doing better now. I got this, right? When I stopped drinking and God gave me the vision for Hush No More, I knew that I had to get it together. You know, it was like I had a charge on my life and I couldn't do it still drinking, still struggling with depression, and trying to help other people and help myself. Now, I ain't know where, I'm not like 100% perfect, but I'm not where I was, and that's what started me on my advocacy, is hitting rock bottom, being hospitalized. And so you're like, girl, you got some problems, and how can we prevent this from other people? How can we prevent it from happening to other people? And I focus on all topics: sexual assault, domestic violence, human trafficking, child sexual abuse, because we go through a lot of stuff in our lives. And I think we all have work to do, that we can work on healing. And so I help everybody. You ready to do this? Let's get it done. So that's what essentially started me.
Yeah. And that's a key point, being ready, right? I think a lot of times we're not ready.
Nope.
But we feel forced, which ultimately puts people in a space of rock bottom, because it's like, I'm not really ready to face it, but life is still moving. Things are like, life is still going, and you can't technically stop, right? Like, you just can't press pause on life because you're not ready to deal with what has happened to you during life. And so when we decide to press pause unexpectedly because we're not ready, a lot of times is what sends the rock bottomness, because it's like, I'm frozen. I'm in a space where I cannot move. And if I can't move, what the heck am I doing? I'm spiraling. I'm going down. And it's like an automatic situation. It's something that's out of your control. You can't really, it's like, what do I do now? Which is why I think support is super important. Of course, we can immediately say, go get therapy, right? That is like the number one thing people tell you to do. When most of us, I think, really need that person that you can just lay your head on their shoulder for a moment. Where can I go for safety? Therapy is amazing, but safety is more important, because I'm already in a space of unsafe. I'm already in a space of violation, right? So I've been violated and I don't feel safe. Not only do I not feel safe with the individual, I don't feel safe with me.
I think that a lot of times people need just love and kindness too. So not only safety, somebody to just love you, not judge you, and just be nice. Because you've been in this space where people weren't nice. Like this, your abuser, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, because my men too, you had somebody that just wasn't kind to you, that said they love you, but didn't genuinely love you. So I think it's important to find spaces like that. I try to create spaces like that. I believe that we change the world through love and kindness. And that's big, but on the opposite side of that, nobody teaches us how to be that space for people. There's no class where people say, hey, if anything happens to somebody, this is what you do. This is how you be a safe space for somebody. And the people that you think was a safe space sometimes don't be a safe space, or they don't know how. So I think that's part of it, is talking to the community about, how do you become a safe space? How do you show love and kindness? How you be that support system? And I don't think that's done enough. So I give a lot of training on how do you become that for people to be able to come to you.
And I think that like, as ironic and outlandish as it sounds, because we're not taught about these things at home growing up, and some of us, a lot of us, not inclusive of myself, but a lot of us, that's where the abuse started, right?
Yeah.
So, some of us were abused as children, even if you didn't know the name of it, right? Even if you couldn't like really pinpoint and say, nope, I was abused as a kid. When you became abused as an adult, it was not foreign. And that's when you can recognize that it happened before. that it was something you've experienced when you were younger. A lot of us have the embedded trauma and embedded abuse from childhood that it's like, oh man, when it happens, you no longer are scared of it because you think it's normal.
Or if
because
you grew up that way, you grew up like
that's what I'm saying.
And even with, like, for me, I saw my mom and dad fighting all the time. So I often talk about from the eyes of a child, so watching domestic violence, right? Having any type of childhood abuse to you, and then generational,
Yeah.
right? So you got all of that. And then you got to find a healthy relationship.
Yep.
What does it look like?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I talk about that in my book, the self-love book I released earlier in the year, that really talks about how to break generational trauma, because we don't love ourselves, right? But we're not taught to love ourselves growing up. And, there was a study a while ago that said children understand how to be happy based upon the happiness of the mother, right? That they have happier lives based upon the happiness of their mom. But the likelihood of moms being really happy is real slim and none because of the overwhelming stress on handling life, meaning they're doing mothering, they're doing out in the world, working a job, they're trying to be somebody's spouse or girlfriend or what have you. Like, they're doing so much for everybody else and nothing for themselves. And so they don't even know what loving them really looks like, which is really, even for myself, why I birth Loving Me Before I Love You, because we don't really understand love as a whole, but you don't understand it because you don't provide it to yourself. And if I don't provide it to myself, there's no way I can teach you how to provide it to me either. And so we have a warped idea based upon societal standards of what love is. And all of it is transactional. And because of it's so transactional, you don't ever feel the essence, the substance of love, period. Right. So you don't understand that self-forgiveness is love. You don't understand that setting healthy boundaries is love. You don't understand that knowing who the heck you are is love. You just think, I go get my nails done, my hair done, I have a massage here or two, that I'm loving me.
That's maintenance.
And now, I tell you,
that is not self-care. That's self-maintenance, not self-love. It's maintenance.
Man, spending your time doing all of those things is amazing. People have told you all the time, if you look good, you feel good, etc. I do think it's a psychological play on yourself to give you a little piece of motivation, but it's short-lived. It is short-lived because you did not deposit the true foundation of what you're trying to do. It's like, I just need to look good so I can think everything is okay. But did you work on what needs to be okay? Did you decide to change? You know what I mean? Like, what did you do for it to be okay? Because tomorrow, the thing that you didn't touch or address is still going to be there. Even though you put makeup on today, it's coming off tonight. And that thing that you was running from is still sitting there. It's still going to be there. You have to do the work. You cannot, and I mean not, think putting makeup on it or putting a Band-Aid on it heals it.
It's a
it's a mask. Like, when you think about putting a Band-Aid on something, right? You get a scratch, you hurt yourself, you put a Band-Aid on, and it's like, you think it's supposed to heal that wound. In reality, it's the healing process is stunted because it doesn't have any air. It's not breathing. You take the Band-Aid off and the little scar heals up very quickly because it needed air to breathe. That's the same thing with your mess. Like, you got to give it space to breathe. Like, you can't cover it up. You can't take it and put it in the corner somewhere and think it's just going to heal itself.
I look good every day. This still was crappy inside. I always, the people go to church, right? And they looking good. They got the hat on, the matching purse and shoes. They looking good, but tore up in the inside. So
a hot mess.
That's not love. That's not self-love. That's just, maintenance that you do to take care of yourself. I always say how you could tell if you love yourself is if you make yourself a promise and you keep it.
And keep it.
If you say you're going to work out and exercise for your health, then work out and exercise for your health. If you say you're going to leave a relationship, leave that relationship. If you say you're going to set boundaries and you're going to stop letting people run over you, then do it. That's when you love yourself. That's love.
People have a difficult time getting to that space because they don't trust themselves. And that's really trust. It they say, if I can't trust you, there's no way I can love you. It's the same thing with yourself. Like, you have to be able to trust you in order to love you. And you don't trust yourself when you break the promises. You don't trust yourself when you just throw out willy-nilly things about what you can and will do and don't do none of them. It's like, and then you wonder why stuff ain't happening for you. It's not happening because you never intended it for it to happen. It just sounded good.
It sounded good. I remember I was in counseling and I was like, well, I don't trust men, right? I had a problem with trusting men, right? And my counselor said, is it that you don't trust men or you don't trust yourself to pick the right man? I was like, what? What? She read me up and down and it was so good. It was so profound. Is it the men or is it me? Is my picker off, right? Yeah. I had a bad picker.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just got to take a break. So that's how I was. Yeah. I was like, it is a trust issue. And can I trust myself to go into another relationship and give myself over and trusting me to make the good decision? And it's still, I have to ask myself that often. I'm not married. I'm still dating and it ain't easy out here. So
tell me about it.
Decisions. And your past traumas make that even more difficult to trust yourself to go to the next relationship. But I just be looking at red flags. You show me who you are. And red flags real, even yellow flags. I'll be like, oh, hold up. Sometimes I think my red flags might not really be a red flag, but I feel like it's one. So it's like, but trust is big, but we do have to test the waters sometimes. As we're healing, we start getting better at making those choices, letting people back in our space.
Absolutely. Which is that's a real good segue into like going back out there, right? Not making that circumstance or situation where you experience the trauma to be the end all be all, like, oh, I'm done. Like, because you cannot overgeneralize everybody for that one person's behaviors, right? They are a man. They are not all men, right? And not that there are not other men that are similar to them. Because I'm going to say this, and people, I don't care if you email me. I don't care. I don't really care. I'm just going to say it. When you hear you are who you hang around, it is also indicative of who you choose in a mate, right? You attract yourself. And people don't like to hear that. But again, I'm not blaming. So be clear. I'm never blaming you for their behavior. But whoever we're with, we attracted them based upon who we are individually. There is something in me that connects and aligns with something in them. Period. Just period.
Or to allow you to stay.
Wow, today's episode is a good one. I know you're enjoying it, and we'll get back to it shortly. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that Tammy would love for you to share any questions, comments, or topic ideas you have with her. All you have to do is send them to her in an email to podcast@IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
There's something that's not right inside of you, right? That this person saw that they can get over on you and they can abuse you and you're going to stay. You're not going to go. When you love yourself, you ain't standing that crap. So there's something, I believe that light attaches itself to light. Dark will try to come to some of your light, right? But dark and dark can go together. So if you got these spaces in you that's not healed, you've had some type of childhood trauma, then you going to have a bad picker. You could pick the wrong person in your life. And they prey on that. They see that you're hurting and that they can get over on you. So from that standpoint, you're absolutely right. People don't want to hear that. But
no, that's what I said. You're going to email me. You're going to do, but I'm just going to keep it real. You attracted it to you, right? So in order to choose something different, you got to heal you so that you attract something different, right? Otherwise, you're going to attract the same type every time because it's you. It's like, what's in me? And those are the questions you should be really asking yourself. What is in me that I myself don't like, but I'm also not willing to confront? I'm also not willing to address, to heal, because it's that thing that's keeping you stuck. It's that thing. When you can ask yourself, how am I dating the same guy with a different name and a different face? Because you're dating you. And until you fix you, you're going to always keep getting that same thing. It just kind of is what it is. But we have to be willing to address it and confront it and do something different.
You got to be honest with yourself. And a lot of times people are not honest with themselves. Oh, it'll get better. It'll be all right. You know, this is the last time. Or we don't listen to our own intuition and to our own gut, our own internal radar. It's like a radar that's inside of us. Know that it probably not going to change. We just hope that it'll be better, So listening to that. But if you're not in a healed space, you're going to tell yourself false narratives every time.
That part. Half of the time we didn't created the whole story and it's not even real. It's not even real, but you will basically force something to make it reality, right? Like you created the whole story. So now you reacting to that person based upon that story that's in your mind. And then that person actually does something based upon what you just did. So now that confirms what your storyline was. But you created that. Like you started that narrative. You put that in the atmosphere. They're just simply responding to your initiations. But you would swear up and down, whatever story you didn't create is really what took place.
I did.
No evidence.
So I would always say, I wasn't in a domestic violence relationship, right? And we forget what all domestic violence cover. So you got the emotional, that verbal, financial, sexual, you got all different types of form of domestic violence. And so mine was emotional. And the reason why I was able to stay, because I told myself the false narrative. He never hit me. I saw my dad hit my mom. So it wasn't domestic violence because he never hit me. But when a man keeps cheating on you over and over again, that is emotional abuse. It's physical when you catch a disease or something. Luckily I ain't had that. But when you're messing with my psyche, when you making me feel like I'm less than a woman, that's emotional. When you say things like, well, if you did this, I wouldn't cheat on you. That's verbal. So we tell ourselves it's not that bad or I'm not getting hit. But that's a narrative that a lot of people have. And I had the same type of narrative telling myself that. And it wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Yeah. And it's definitely a mental abuse. Like that mental abuse is real. Because when you start second guessing who the heck you are.
I'm not enough. If I do this and do this, it'll be better. I need to change. No. Yeah. Not in that aspect.
Stop adjusting, stop shifting, stop minimizing, stop shrinking to be something for somebody else who really is only tolerating you.
And don't deserve you. Somebody that don't
Yeah,
deserve
they don't. Not even a little bit. When you went through all that you went through, what level of support did you get that you were appreciative of? And what level of support that you was like, oh no, I didn't really want that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was the support structure that you kind of really wanted, etc.?
So support for me, I didn't really want family support. That's just me. People don't believe I'm very private because I share a lot from an advocacy standpoint, but I didn't want family support. My family didn't know what I was going through. So I had support of my best friends, right? And my most important support was just to listen, not to tell me what to do, not to judge, because I probably already know, unless I ask, so what do you think? Then I want to know. But if I don't ask you, I just want to be able to vent. Want to be able to talk. That's the most important support that I had. The support that I did not want was telling me what to do. That was not it. When I stopped drinking, one of my girlfriends, and I'm going to make sure she listened to this podcast, she came over to my house and she went through my trash can. And then she came in my room and she was like, girl, I'm so glad you stopped drinking. I went through your trash can. There wasn't no bottles. What? Like, I was pissed. When I tell you, I went off. And we've been friends over 30 years. I went off, right? Because I felt like you overstepped.
Violated. Yeah.
And she didn't get it. She did come back and apologize, right? She did come back and apologize and tell me that she was sorry. But the support I need is what I asked for. That's the support I need, not what you think I need. Because maybe I do need that and I don't know it. But when I'm still trying to heal and I'm really going through, or I'm right in the midst of my trauma, I need to decide what type of support I want, not you telling me what I should do. Right? That was me. I did have support in counseling. After like the 20th counselor, I finally did find one that I really like. So she was good because I was able to tell her everything. And I would tell her a whole lot of stuff just to test her to see if she could handle what I had to say. And she passed the test. So she never like was judgmental. Or if I was you, I wouldn't do that. Or I would do this. Or girl, I can't believe you did that. Nothing negative. I don't need you to say nothing negative. Everything that come out of your mouth should be positive, empowering, uplifting, right? Encouraging. That's what I needed. Girl, I love you. I got your back. Not, well, why didn't you call me or why you didn't say nothing? Be in the moment with me today. That was the kind of support I needed. I never went to a victim advocate, but victim advocates are amazing. But that wasn't the route that I went through. Even when I was younger, like in my 20s, I didn't know what a victim advocate was. Advocacy has changed a lot. So that wasn't mine. But just a space of listening is number one. I think that's important. I came up with an acronym I call GIVE. And it's what I needed and what I talked to other people about. So G stands for being gentle. Being gentle with the person. When they chose you out of all the people in the world to talk to, be gentle with them, not judging them, right? Be careful with them because this is a very hard space. I is interested. Right. Be interested in what the person's saying, not on your cell phone, not looking at your watch, acting like you got to go, but be interested in the moment in the conversation, right? E is validate. If I tell you this is the worst thing that ever happened in my life, don't be like, well, girl, it ain't that bad. I don't want to hear that. I'm having a bad day. Like I've heard people say they was like sexual harassment and they'll say, well, at least you weren't penetrated. Like who says stuff like that? Like validate how that person feel. This is a bad day for them. Allow them to have that moment.
Yeah.
And E is my favorite, which is encouraging, elevate, empower. Everything that you say should be so encouraging to them that they feel good after they had a conversation. So that's what I need. I need give. I need you to give that to me.
I 100% agree. I think a lot of times people don't know what to say.
Right.
Right. So they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do, especially if they've never experienced it. If it's something that they have never encountered, be it themselves as a survivor or someone else super close to them that they kind of walk that path with them, before, if you're the first for them, if the only thing that they can relate to in reference to what you're going through is from television,
Oh, no.
they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. They are doing what they think is right. And it's not even about what they would have wanted to happen to them, because they can't even imagine themselves in that spot. So the other thing that most people who are being supportive do is try to keep distance from the actual experience from them and still be supportive on behalf of you. It's like, yeah, I don't kind of really want that to be that close to me like that. But, let me say something. Let me say, oh man, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Let me say,
most people don't want you to feel sorry for them.
No.
And I always talk about there's a difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathizing means that I'm in this moment with you. I'm trying to understand what you've been through. Sympathy means I'm feeling sorry for you. And I might even be sitting here crying. That's not what I want. I want you to empathize with me. And essentially, I tell people, you could say this: thank you for sharing with me. Thank you for trusting me. You just thank them for sharing with you. I honor you anytime. And I've heard some stories that you wouldn't believe, some of the stuff I heard. And sometimes I don't know what to say. And I'll just say, I honor you in this moment. I honor you and I'm proud of you. You can say something like that. That's it. I love you. I got your back. What can I do for you? What do you need from me? Those two questions are really the only two questions people need. If you're going to ask anything, how can I help you? What do you need from me? That's it.
Yeah. Stop trying to get the details.
Yeah, we overthink it. We overthink
Well, no, and then they try to get the details, right? They want to know how it happened.
Some people want to be nosy.
Right. Yes, how it happened. Where were you? What was going on? Did they do it like this? Was it like that? What was going through your mind when they did this? And, all of that, because they just simply want to know. And they feel like knowing helps them be supportive for you to be getting through it, when you knowing has nothing to do with supporting me through the process.
No, you don't have to know. And
just be there.
That's it. I just need you to be there. I need you to love on me. And I tell victims, if somebody starts questioning you, don't say nothing else. That's not the right person. You have to be careful who you open up and share to. Everybody is not meant to know your story. When my sisters heard my story, I was at a conference and I had invited them to the conference because it was in Orlando and that's where I'm from. And they came. And at the end, my sister walked up to me and she said, I got a bone to pick with you. I was like, what? She was like, well, why you ain't never tell us? I'm like, what? Like, nah, girl, you did good. I'm so proud of you. None of that. She wanted to know why I ain't never tell her. And I wanted to say in that moment, this is why.
For this very reason.
Right now, right?
For this very reason.
I mean, when I tell you, it's probably 2,000 women in here. And that's what you walk up to me to say in this moment, right? So I said, let's talk about it later. I'll talk to you about it later. And then when we did get a chance to talk, I said, because I didn't want to. I have a right to decide when and how I want to share, how much I want to share. And I just didn't want to do it. There's no answer. I didn't want to. The end of it. And I didn't say it's because the way you treated me in this moment. I just said because I didn't want to. I wasn't in that space. Yeah. Period.
But people think that they are entitled to know based upon their position in your life. They feel entitled to know. I should know what happened to you because I am your sister. And people,
mothers too.
Yeah, mothers, sisters.
A lot of times,
girl, cousins, your friends, and I mean, it's just any and everybody. But it's more so like I'm who I am to you, and you should never hold something that big for me. And disregarding the status of our relationship, right. Disregarding how we really communicate or what we really got going on. Like, ask yourself, do I tell you anything that's of any value, or do I talk to you on the surface? Do I, you know what I mean? Like, for real, are we talking about something that you can go Google, or are we talking about something that you got to know me to know?
And I don't think people should get upset when somebody don't feel like that's their person. You shouldn't get upset with the person because it's so hard. That's why I'm happy for victim advocates, because that's a safe space. I'm happy for therapy. You know, you got your counselors. You need that space. Sometimes you just got to talk it out with somebody else. Sometimes you don't even know if it's real. You don't even know if like what you've been through is like real. Like when you tell somebody in your family, it's like, oh, this is real. And then sometimes people get upset. You know, you don't even sure if you're ready to go back or not. You don't know what your people going through. So it's okay that you're not their person, that they're one. You know, you just love on them. But I've seen people be very mean and say, well, why you didn't tell me? And you should have told me. And I want to be there.
And stop talking to you for it, because they put the emphasis on them versus what the real situation really is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's about them.
Right. It's selfish.
It's not
It's very selfish, very, very selfish. And that's why I always say you have to love you first, because people are selfish based upon themselves all the time. It's like when people say, oh, self-love is so selfish. And I'm like, really?
It is not.
Interesting.
We've been taught wrong. We have been taught to show up for everybody else in ourselves.
But us.
You got to show up you got to love yourself, show up for yourself so that you have the capacity to be there for everybody else. And I'll tell everybody that. Love yourself first, do for you first, take breaks. I even have to tell myself that. This year I turned 50, right? I had a birthday party at 49 because I said at 50, it was going to be all about me and I was going to travel the world. And that's what I have done. So far, I've been to 8 countries this year. And I meant it. Like, I'm not loving on other people more than I love on myself. I got to love me. So I got to be able to show up for other people. But people will tell you, you're selfish. What? And I don't care because I love myself. It's about me. Yeah. It's about me so I can show up for you. Period. And I stand by that.
And that's stand 10 toes down on it, because that is the reality. It's something that I teach all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I talk to single moms all the time. You want your children to be better than you, but you won't be better for yourself. They're learning from you. They can't be better than something that you won't provide. If I want them to be better than me, I got to be better for me.
You would change your whole, like I've heard women say, well, I don't have time, right? I don't have time for self-care and to go do this and go take time for myself, right? If your child came home and said, Ma, I want to play soccer and practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you change your whole schedule around to make sure them kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Your whole schedule changes. But we don't change our schedule around for ourselves. And we should. But we can do it. We choose not to. We do it for everybody else, but not ourselves. If your mom call, your dad call, I got a doctor's appointment. You're going to change your schedule around to make sure they get to that doctor's appointment. But we don't do it for ourselves. And we can't.
I always say, tell people, you got to be able to tell people no. You can tell them no gracefully, though. Thanks for thinking about me. Thank you that you felt like I was the most perfect person to handle that task for you. Unfortunately, I am unavailable.
You sound nicer than me.
You say no gracefully. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't got to be nasty with it. You ain't got to be like so strict and harsh. It's just
not graceful. It's like sometimes I don't want to. I've done so much in my life that I just did it because I felt obligated to. And I just say, no, I'm good. That's, I don't want to go. I don't want to do that no more. That's not for me. I don't want to go. Or I don't want to do that. I think it's okay for us to say that we don't want to, because so often
absolutely
did it.
That's what I say. Thank you. Thanks for thinking about me, but no.
Yeah, and I'm not very graceful, but it's like, I'm good. No, maybe next time, or I already got something else planned, or I don't know if I'm graceful.
I see. For me, I feel like the gracefulness allows most people that feel bad about saying no not feel bad anymore, right? It is the start of being okay with whatever boundary you set for yourself to be exercised. When you don't really know how to set boundaries, when you haven't learned to put yourself first and you are in that process of learning it, doing it with grace gives you a little soft landing on, well, I did it for me, but at the same time, they should understand, because I was really nice when I said it. You know what I mean? It
People
was
don't
like,
care whether you nice or not. I think at the beginning I would maybe was a little graceful.
yeah,
And I
that was
realized
it, because you
people,
became sure of you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you
At the
become
beginning.
sure of you, when you get into the I don't really care phase of self-love, when you're in the phase of I'm doing me,
Yeah,
period,
ain't no grace.
when you get to the right, when you get into the phase of I like me no matter if you like me,
Right.
and this is my life and I'm gonna live it the way I want to live it, then the other stuff, you stop caring about how they're going to react and respond. But as long as you are in that initial phase of learning to love
I
you,
probably was
and
there.
you're coming out of people pleasing, you coming out of being so concerned about how they're going to react, being so concerned about what they think,
They feel it
that you
first.
have to do it gracefully, because that what makes you feel comfortable in your no.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, but that's my mama. I can't tell my mama no. And it's like, yeah, you can. Ma, I'm so glad you thought about me for that, but that's not gonna work with me right now. Here's some suggestions on who you can reach out to get X, Y, and Z done. So that's the graceful no, right? I said no, I'm not doing it, but I also gave you some other options,
Yeah. I used
right?
to have a graceful no or a timid no. Or I'm so sorry. I
I ain't
had an
apologizing.
apologetic no. I'm so
Mm-mm.
sorry that I can't do it. Oh, I wish I could, or I'll lie.
Mm-mm.
so I can get out of
See,
it because I ain't want to hurt nobody feeling. So I was
see,
apologetic or lying.
yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah, see, we don't want to lie. We want to keep it. We want to keep it 100. We just want to keep it nice. When you are learning that your no is okay, that no is a sentence. It's not something that you have to like explain or pussyfoot around. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to say, this is what I can't. This is my availability, and understanding your own capacity is the key to being able to do all of those things. Period. And so when you go through something like domestic violence, when you decide that I'm going to heal and become a better me in that process, those are the things that you kind of learn and expose yourself to. It's like, oh, wait. Because what? I matter. What I want matters. What I need to do for me matters. I don't need to say, oh, I was really planning to do X, Y, and Z today, but since you asked, I guess I can do that tomorrow. No, I'm doing X, Y, and Z today. If you want me to participate, it can go tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm available. If you can't wait till tomorrow, find somebody else to do it.
I had a hard time with no. I really did. And now that you're talking, I had to go back. Because now I'm just like, no, it is, I don't even have to explain to you. It's no, I don't want to. Even with my mom, I had to set boundaries with my mom, even with my kids. So it is what it is right now. And I tell everybody and I tell myself, I am the most important person in the universe. I am the most important person in the universe. And if I'm not good, nobody else around me good. So I gotta be good. And if I used to do so much that I didn't want to do. Like, even when I go on vacation and I let my friends come or my family come that I didn't want to come with me. Now it's just a no. I'm a solo. I ride solo. And I love being by myself because I'm in such a healed space that I enjoy being by myself. I don't need any company. And so, yeah, what I did, but I'm telling you, I had a very apologetic. I felt so bad for setting boundaries and putting myself first. I did. And I just started lying.
But those are the beginnings. Those are the beginning stages of learning that you're starting to learn to love you. If you don't go through that phase, like, you should see that phase happen. If you were always saying yes and now you're learning to say no, then you go to the apologetic no phase, then you learn to get to the grace no phase, and then you get to the audacity no phase.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's growth in that. You know what I mean? Like, even when if I say, oh man, you made it to the apologetic no phase, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, we're gonna get to the grace no phase. You know what I mean? When you're not sorry about it, but you just being nice about it. You know what I'm saying? And then okay, I no longer have to be nice about it because my no means no. So I'm just going to be audacious. It's the audacity of me to say, yes, I have the audacity because it's my capacity. And it's being able to understand that. So
it's my choice. We don't, especially in domestic violence, any type of trauma, you normally don't have a lot of choice. You've given up choice. When somebody have taken control of you, your body, just your decisions.
Your mind.
So so now we got choice. I choose to do this and I choose not to do this. And it's my right. And the audacity is that you don't respect that I don't want to. That I'm saying no. And you're the one that should look at yourself, that you want to accept that this is something that I don't want to do.
Absolutely.
That's big. That's how you support people, though. You support their no.
That was good. See, I was about to ask a question and you just gave the answer before I can even ask the question. How do you even support those that are going through it? But that's it. That is really it in a nutshell. And I think that if you're listening and you are in either spot, be it on the side of the survivor or on the side of a supporter, you should know what's necessary. You should know, one, if you're a survivor, how you want to be supported. And as a supporter, you should be asking questions of how do you want to be supported, and not just supporting people from your space. And I say that from the standpoint of this. I can't love you the way I want to love you. I have to love you the way you need to be loved. So that is the same thing in support. Support is love. And so you have to do it based upon the person that's receiving it, not the one giving it.
That's it. And, as I evolved as a woman, I've been doing a lot of just looking at myself and what do I need? I didn't know. Like sometimes we not even taught like how a man could satisfy us. Like how do I get satisfaction? Like, do I like kisses? Do I like this touch? And so learning yourself aids in that as well. Like, who are you as a woman? What do you need? What does love looks like for you? What is your love language? That is important to know that for yourself. And like, I don't like, negative conversation. So like my mama called me and be like, well, let me tell you about what happened in church today. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, you don't do gossip?
And so no, because this was I'm in a good space. Now you done call me with some crap, right? I had to set the boundary. I was like, oh, Mom, I want to talk about that today. Oh, you don't want to talk about nothing. I was like, and I say I wasn't disrespectful. I was like, well, no, Mom, I'm just in a good space right now. All right, I'll talk to you later. She gonna call back. But she don't call back with that. But you already know that. Most people that don't accept your no or they push your boundaries, they know they're doing it. We just have to stand in it. Don't call me with no crazy stuff. I'm all about positive energy. If your conversation ain't going to uplift me and I'm going to be laughing and joking with you at the end of the day, I won't talk about it. Unless it's trauma. That's it. If it's from an advocacy land, that's the exception. But you calling me with some crap, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about good. Like, what do you want to do? What we going to eat? You cooking for me? I love conversations like that. So, yeah, knowing who we are and what we want and don't want is big after going through a lot of trauma.
Absolutely. You got to learn yourself. And again, you can't seek love until you know love. And so you have to do it for you first. Mm-hmm. But I want to thank you for joining us. I want you to tell the people where they can find you if they want to be supported or find victim advocacies. Mm-hmm. How can they do that?
So my organization is called Hush No More. Our website is hushnomore.org. Our number is 1-888-285-2161. You can find all the information that you need on our website, other resources. And I think that's important that you could look up resources. There's always organizations in your community. I live in South Carolina, but it doesn't matter where you live. I'm always try to help you and find resources to get the support that you need. So it's hushnomore.org. We're on all social media platforms. You can find us. And that's what it's about. Reach out to me.
Absolutely. Again, thanks for joining us. And remember, love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus. Have a good one. See y'all next Tuesday.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.